Mommy? Now that Daddy's dead, we're still gonna live here?
You know what? I don't know. I like it. Today's the day. And Mom, there's a woman in the attic.
Hello? Can I help you?
I don't come unless I'm called. Today's the day. Today's the day.
At the beginning of the movie, a couple is heard talking. David says, "I had the most amazing dream." He describes a finished house, decorated and surrounded by her favorite flowers. Ramona guesses, irises. He nods, adding they were happy, just the two of them and the kids. The only thing left was choosing a name. Ramona replies, "Not every farm needs a name." David asks what she'd pick, but she doesn't know. Then it is revealed that Ramona is watching the video on her phone. Sad, she replays it. Her son enters, opens the curtains, and mentions the electricity is out. He asks if she'll call the electric company. She replies, "Let me wake up." As she gets up, we see she's injured. Trying to stand, she says, "Give me strength," and starts walking with help of crutches. Then we see Taylor playing with his dog and feeding the chickens. He then tries to cook, but notices the stove isn't working. Then he realizes there are no matchsticks either. He heads to the attic to grab a lighter from his dad's things, also taking his cup. Meanwhile, Ramona notices her phone's battery is low. Struggling, she slowly makes her way downstairs. In the kitchen, she sees Annie holding a knife and stops her. She asks Taylor to look after her. Taylor serves food to Annie, then quickly sets a plate for Ramona when he sees her struggling. Ramona notices her husband's old cup on the table. Taylor asks if they said when the power will be back. Ramona replies, her phone is dead. Frustrated, Taylor reacts, and Ramona snaps. "What's the big deal if you miss video games? If you hadn't broken your phone, you could have called them." After a while, they laugh on some topic, but then Ramona starts crying, staring at her husband's chair. Just then, Charlie vomits. Ramona asks what Taylor fed him. He replies, "Food, since we're out of dog food." She tells him to chain Charlie outside. Ramona then checks the mail and finds a letter addressed to her. Inside, there's a card offering condolences. At that moment, a memory flashes. The accident she and her husband were in. Just then, her son tells her there's a woman in the yard. Ramona looks out the window. A woman dressed entirely in black is sitting silently on a chair. Annie asks, "Who is that and why is her face covered?" Ramona replies, "I don't know." Taylor says, "She's probably disfigured or something." Annie suggests, "Maybe she needs help. Should we call an ambulance?" Taylor mocks, "Great idea, except we can't." Ramona then notices Charlie, barking non-stop at the woman. Annie says, "Daddy would know what to do." That's when Ramona decides to go outside. She tells Taylor to stay in the house. As she leaves, Taylor turns to Annie and reassures her, "I know Mom hasn't really been herself lately, but I'm here." Outside, Ramona walks toward the woman and calls out, "Can you hear me? I just want to help." The woman replies, "How did I get here?" Ramona answers, "I don't know. I was about to ask you the same thing. Are you hurt?" The woman then asks, "What's your name?" "Ramona," she replies. "And you?" The woman asks again. "Ramona what?" Ramona hesitates. "Just Ramona is fine." The woman says, "I asked because I noticed the ring on your finger. Is this your home?" Ramona responds cautiously, "I'm just trying to help. You seem confused. Tell me if you need anything." The woman answers, "I'm fine." Ramona says, "If you're fine, then please leave my property." The woman murmurs, "Ever wish someone else would be strong for once? And you could just disappear?" Ramona warns her, "My husband will be back any minute. I think you should go." The woman replies, "Your husband isn't coming home. That injured leg, that wrecked truck over there, guess you were lucky." "He wasn't," Ramona demands. "Who are you?" Then she yells back toward the house, telling the kids to go inside. The woman says, "Your children are such darlings, ripe enough to eat." Enraged, Ramona snaps, "Leave, or I'm calling the police." The woman replies, "Today is the day, Ramona. You called, and I came. Today is the day." She then shows her hand, drenched in blood. Ramona gasps and stumbles back in fear, only to find dead hens in the coop. She rushes to the Jeep, trying to charge her phone, but it doesn't work. Charlie is still barking furiously until the woman gestures silently, and Charlie goes completely quiet. Inside the house, Taylor decides to go check on his mom. Suddenly, Ramona appears in front of him, quickly locking the doors. She puts the flashlight and keys on the table. Taylor asks, "What did she say?" Ramona lies, "Nothing. She thought I was her nurse or something. She mentioned medication." Taylor presses, "But how did she get here?" Ramona guesses, "Probably wandered off from that nursing home near the high school." Annie asks, "Why is she dressed like that?" Ramona sighs, "I don't know, but we shouldn't mess with people in that kind of state." To change the subject, she says, "Who wants ice cream?" Later, Taylor asks, "Did she tell you her name?" Ramona replies, "No." Taylor questions, "Then how are we supposed to ask the nursing home if she's missing without knowing her name?" Ramona sighs. She's confused. It wasn't easy getting anything out of her. Taylor suggests, "Maybe we should keep Dad's gun ready. If you don't, I will." Ramona tells him to go to his room. When he refuses, she throws David's cup, shattering it. That finally gets Taylor to leave to the living room, pulls the curtain aside, sets up a chair, and sits down to keep watch. Later, Ramona approaches him and says, "As soon as the power comes back, I'll call someone and get her out of here. Until then, everything is locked. We'll just keep an eye on her." Just then, Annie tells Ramona that the woman is closer. They all look out the window and sure enough, the woman is. Then, her shadow stretches toward the broken truck and it visibly dents inward under the weight. Later, Ramona is seen pulling a thread from the stitches on her leg and continues pulling it until Annie calls her name, snapping her out of it. Ramona realizes she had been imagining the whole thing. Ramona then tells Annie she's written the letter R incorrectly and shows her the right way to write it. She then turns the letters into drawings. Annie asks, "How come you don't paint anymore?" Ramona replies, "Maybe I will when a beautiful picture comes into Mommy's head." She asks Annie to stay with Taylor, who is asleep, and heads out to check on the woman who is still sitting outside. Quietly, she opens the door and softly calls out Charlie. When he doesn't appear, she steps outside and notices that one end of Charlie's chain leash is embedded in the ground. She pulls at the chain, trying to dislodge it, and eventually manages to yank it free, only to see that it's broken. Suddenly, the woman is seen again, and Taylor abruptly wakes up. He notices mud on the soles of his mother's shoes and her footprints nearby. Annie then shows her writing to Taylor. Taylor points out that she's written the letter R wrong. As Taylor starts playing with a ball, Ramona asks him to stop. Taylor suggests they could go to the neighbor's house and use their phone to call for help and get the woman out of their yard. Ramona replies, "I can't drive like this." Taylor says, "I can. Dad used to let me drive the Jeep." Ramona corrects him. "He let you do it twice," Taylor insists, but Ramona refuses, saying, "You're not old enough." Then Taylor suggests he could walk to the nearest farm, Aurora Acres, and ask to use their phone. Ramona warns him to not go anywhere. Taylor, frustrated, swears at her, which angers Ramona. In response, Taylor continues playing with the ball just to annoy her. Ramona loses her temper and grabs a knife. Then, suddenly she grabs the ball and throws it out the window. She then yells at Annie for not being able to write the letter R correctly. Almost immediately, she apologizes for her behavior and calls Annie over for a hug. As she embraces her, Ramona suddenly stabs her, but it turns out she was stabbing a cushion, not Annie. Just then, Annie screams. They discover that she stepped on a broken piece of a cup that Ramona had smashed earlier. Ramona picks her up and takes her to the room, while Taylor looks outside at the woman. Taylor quietly grabs a rod and the Jeep keys, then sneaks outside. As he leaves, the woman's painting is visible by the door. Meanwhile, Ramona apologizes to Annie, and Annie replies, "It's okay. It was an accident." Ramona nods. "Accidents happen," Annie adds, "like when Daddy crashed and died." The scene then cuts to Taylor rushing toward the Jeep. The woman notices him. He glances at her nervously, then tries to start the Jeep, but it won't start. When he looks back, the woman is gone from the chair. Suddenly, a sound startles him. He turns, and the woman is seen behind him. Panicked, he gets out of the Jeep and notices a shadow on the broken-down car. The shadow then pulls the car cover halfway off. Just then, a ladder nearby crashes to the ground. Taylor catches a glimpse of the woman's reflection in the mirror and spins around. He sees a shadow moving outside and begins following it. He hits hard and bumps into his mother. She yells at him in panic, and we cut to a shot of the woman still sitting in her spot. Back inside, Taylor and Ramona begin arguing. Taylor demands, "Who is this woman? What aren't you telling us? And where's Charlie? You know who she is." Ramona insists, "I'm just trying to protect you." Taylor then taunts her for her unstable mental condition. Angrily, Ramona throws a basket at him. Furious, Taylor storms off to a room and locks the door. Meanwhile, Annie sneaks off to look at the woman. As Ramona heads toward Taylor, she stumbles and falls. Annie turns to leave, and we see the woman has moved closer to the house. Inside, Taylor pulls out his dad's gun. Ramona tries to stop him, but he locks her in and storms out in anger. Outside, he points the gun at the woman. "You've got 10 seconds to get off our property." He begins counting down. Slowly, the woman rises and starts walking toward him. As she gets closer, she finally reveals her face. Meanwhile, Ramona begs Annie to help her open the door. Outside, the woman's shadow stretches unnaturally. The wind chime jingles as her shadow brushes past it, startling Taylor. Inside, Ramona confesses to Annie, "I'm just trying to do what's best for you and your brother. That's why I changed the scary part." Outside, the woman speaks to Taylor, calm and direct. "You're confused. Your mother's been lying to you about everything." Taylor, shaken, asks, "What do you mean?" She replies, "That night, when you lost your daddy, your mom told it all backwards." We then see Annie open the door. Taylor is standing behind her. He asks Annie to go to the living room. Taylor confronts Ramona. "You said the roads were wet and that Dad just lost control of the wheel. But that was a lie, wasn't it? What really happened that night?" Ramona begins to confess. "The night started off fine. We had dinner, but your dad could tell something was wrong. He knew something was on my mind." Then, in a flashback, David says, "The kids are happy." "I'm happy," Ramona responds. "So I don't get to be happy?" David replies, "You weren't happy in the city. You were always coming home upset, crying." Ramona snaps back, "At least I could work there. You're fulfilled in the ways that matter to you, but I'm not. Everything about me is given over to everyone else. I do things for you, for the kids, for the farm." David argues, "We can't make another move. You said you were happy with it. We can't keep changing everything." Ramona says, "Then maybe I should go." David insists, "This was a we decision, and now it's a we problem. We can't fix it by you just leaving." Ramona replies, "Maybe it's not fixable." David asks for the bill and places the car keys on the table. Ramona takes the car keys and storms out. Back in the present, a ball bounces toward Annie. She cautiously approaches it, and we see a shadow of the woman on the wall. In flashback, David gets in the car and Ramona starts driving. Back in present, the woman's shadow inches closer to the house. It shakes the chandelier above, and Annie looks up. The shadow then slides the table lamp, and its form is seen creeping across the ceiling. In flashback, Ramona notices the women in rearview mirror. Then the woman's face appears, due to which the car crashes. In present, Ramona screams, "Yes, I was driving the car that night. I lied." Meanwhile, the shadow slams the living room door shut and begins advancing toward Annie. Annie notices it and screams. Taylor rushes in as furniture starts crashing down. Ramona shouts, "It's her!" The shadow continues wrecking the room. It picks up a knife. Taylor quickly closes the curtains and the knife drops. They try to escape, but things keep falling around them. Taylor frantically draws more curtains. Ramona urges, "We need to get somewhere completely dark." They all run to the attic. Outside, we see the woman. The shadow's hand reaches for the kids, then tries to block Ramona from entering the attic, but fails. They all climb up to the attic as the shadow begins to consume the house. It enters the attic, grabs Annie by the foot, and drags her. Taylor quickly places a painting in front of the window, blocking the light. Ramona then swiftly blocks the attic entrance, and they all stand together, terrified. Ramona says, "It's okay. She can't get in here." Just then, Taylor accidentally hits a metal rod. Something starts banging against the attic entrance. All three of them are paralyzed with fear as objects start rattling around them, and strange sounds echo from all directions. Suddenly, they spot the woman sitting silently in the dark. Taylor pulls a flashlight from his pocket and switches it on, only to find an empty chair. Out of nowhere, the woman attacks Taylor, causing his torch to fall. Ramona grabs a rod and starts swinging it through the air. Taylor quickly places Annie in a corner for safety. A fierce struggle erupts between Ramona and the woman. Taylor rushes to help his mother, but the woman throws him back. The torch flickers on and off. Annie then picks it up and sits in a corner. The woman calls out to her gently. She steps toward Annie and says, "It's me. Don't be scared." We see Ramona's shadow trying to save Annie. The woman continues, "I've come to bring you home. I won't hurt you." She embraces Annie and both vanish. Taylor regains his senses, and Ramona pulls him into a hug. Suddenly, they hear Annie calling Ramona's name, and the sound of the flickering torch echoes from another room. They leave the attic, following the light. Ramona tells Taylor to stay behind, and he hands her the lighter. Ramona enters the room and discovers a hidden passage inside the wardrobe. She calls out for Annie and steps through, only to emerge from a mirror into another world. There, she sees David, who repeats the exact same words from the dream he had, shown at the beginning of the movie. She walks over and lies beside him, feeling safe and comforted in his arms, until she realizes the tattoo in David's arm is reversed. She abruptly sits up. David asks, "Where are you going?" She glances at her painting. It's reversed, too. That's when she realizes this is a different world. Suddenly, David throws a black cloth over her. The scene cuts to Ramona now sitting in the yard, in the woman's place. She watches herself walking in and offering help, just like the beginning of the movie. Ramona murmurs, "How did I get here?" She begins to pull at the cloth covering her face. She says, "I'm drowning." The other Ramona responds, "Today is the day, Ramona." As she uncovers her face, she finds herself back in the attic, seated in a chair. Taylor shines the flashlight on her, and it's revealed that the woman in the yard was her all along, from a different world. It was she who had approached Annie. As she returns to the real world, she finds Annie in her lap. She tries to wake her, then glances at the mirror. Her reflection smiles, and in that moment, Annie jolts awake. Ramona tells Taylor to take Annie downstairs, and then takes the gun from his hands. As they leave, Ramona raises the gun and says firmly, "This ends here. You leave, and you never come back." From the darkness, the woman slowly steps forward and says, "I was waiting to see that gun in your hands. I believe you'll use it. That's why I'm here, to help you, just like you asked." A flashback reveals Ramona asking for strength. The woman reminds her, "Every morning, you pray for strength." "Strength for what, Ramona?" Ramona replies, to go on. The woman denies and says, "You discarded all the bullets, except one." Ramona says, "I have children. They need their mother." The woman responds, "They have needed their mother for weeks, but you've been locked in here, praying for me. I am the corners of your mind. I've always been here." Here it is revealed that the woman is a manifestation of Ramona's inner self. The woman continues, "Today is the day." Ramona lowers the gun, saying, "My kids, will they be okay?" The woman lights a lighter, and in its warm glow, shows Ramona glimpses of a possible future. Her children happy, safe, and thriving. She says, "Only if you set them free." They sit together, and Ramona says, "I want to say goodbye first." The woman whispers, "Of course." The scene cuts to Ramona coming downstairs and asking Taylor to take his sister and leave for Aurora Acres. She says, "Everything will be fine. You'll be better off." Taylor replies, "But we can all just leave together." Ramona responds, "It'll be a lot better without me." Annie turns and hands her soft toy to Ramona, saying, "I don't want you to be alone." Then they leave. Ramona goes to the garage, throws the soft toy aside, and sits in the chair. She stares at the gun, her eyes filled with quiet resolve. The woman appears, helping her hold the gun upright. The woman moves behind her, steadying Ramona's hands, and kisses her softly. She whispers, "We don't have all day." Ramona places the gun beneath her chin. Just then, she sees the soft toy Annie gave her. At that moment, the woman's shadow merges with Ramona's. Ramona then looks at herself in the mirror and smiles. The scene shifts outside. The wind howls. The children return, and Ramona comes out to greet them. They all hug. Ramona says, "I changed the scary part." Taylor asks, "Is she going to come back?" Ramona replies, "Not today, but if she does, I'll be ready." As they approach the house, we see the name Iris Heaven. Just as they're about to enter, the electricity comes back on, and everyone cheers. Charlie shows up, joining the group, and together they walk into the house, smiling. Inside, we see a painting made by Ramona. The camera zooms in. Her name is written in reverse, hinting that they are now in a parallel world, and the movie ends here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.